Nicholas Angelo, Nicky Mouth Santora, June 21, 1942, October 27, 2018 was the reputed underboss of the Bonanno crime family. Biography. Nicholas Santora was born on June 21, 1942, and became known in his teens as a tough mobster from New York City. He was the son of Modesto Santora, a sidewalk soldier for the Colombo crime family under boss Joseph Magliocco. Originally a member of a youth gang, Santora became a made man along with mobsters Dominic, Sonny Black Napolitano, Benjamin Lefty Ruggiero and Joseph Big Joey Mazzino in the mid-1970s. Santora became involved with the Bonanno family while boss Philip Rusty Rastelli was imprisoned. Rastelli's reign was threatened by Carmine Lilo Galanti, who felt he was the rightful boss because he had been underboss and consigliere under boss Joe Bonanno. Santora started out in a crew led by Galanti supporter Michael "Mikey" Sabella, and became heavily involved with extortion, loan sharking, labor racketeering, illegal gambling, truck hijacking, and murder for hire. By 1978, Rastelli had heard rumors of Carmine Galanti being the new boss of the Bonannos, but would not tolerate it. Another coup regime, Alphonse, Sonny Red Indelicato, would be approached by Rastelli to organize the murder of Carmine Galanti. Indelicato approached Santora, whose job was to deliver the message to mobsters Dominic Napolitano and Cesare Bonventre and report back to Indelicato. Since Sabella was loyal to Galanti, it had to happen without Sabella knowing it. On July 12, 1979, Carmine Galanti was murdered just as he finished eating lunch at Joe and Mary's Italian-American restaurant in Bushwick, Brooklyn along with friend Leonard Coppola and restaurant owner cousin Giuseppe Turano. He was murdered by Anthony, Bruno Indelicato, Dominic, Big Trincara, Dominic, Sonny Black Napolitano and Louis Gaeta Giangetti, who were all hired by Alphonse Indelicato. After the Galanti execution, several Galanti supporters, including Michael Sabella, were demoted, as Trincara, Mazzino, Napolitano and Bonventre were all promoted to captains of the Bonanno crime family. It is suspected his death was arranged by the heads of the other 5 families in New York, who had decided Galanti's greed and ambition over the control of the multi-million-dollar heroin business were a threat to all their interests. Philip Rusty Rastelli was also involved and remained boss of the Bonannos. With Dominic, Sonny Black Napolitano as capo, the Motion Lounge crew would receive massive income as one of the most profitable crews in the Bonanno family. With soldiers Nicholas Santora, John Cersani, John Zancacchio, Edward Barbera, Benjamin Lefty Ruggiero, Michael Sabella, Joseph Puma, Stephen Maruca, Salvatore Ferrugia, Antonio Tomasolo, Anthony, Fat Tony Rabino, Frank DiStefano, Salvatore Di Ottavio, James Episcopa, and Mafia associate Joseph Donnie Brasco Pistone, who was actually an FBI agent working undercover. Napolitano, after 3 years of work in Brooklyn, moved operations to Florida in 1980, where he and Donnie Brasco set up loan sharking, illegal gambling, extortion, and racketeering operations with the permission of longtime Florida boss Santo Trafficante, Jr. It was around this time that Santora would be put in charge of the entire Florida operation, along with Brasco. Back in New York, the leadership of Philip Rastelli had waned in popularity, as Alphonse Indelicato was seen as a more prominent figure as boss of the Bonanno family, which is why Napolitano moved operations into Florida, in hope of squeezing the rival faction out financially. Indelicato and 2 other captains, Trincara and Phil Lucky Giacconi, began planning on taking over the family. The 3 capos' murder. Some of the clubs in Florida were eventually shut down due to local police and more pressure on organized crime. Eventually, they got back to New York, where the rival Indelicato faction had grown larger and more powerful. On May 5, 1981, Just when a new war was about to break out within the Bonanno family, Alphonse Indelicado, Giacone, and Trincaro were shot to death in an ambush at the 2020 Club, a nightclub once run by Gambino crime family under boss Sammy the Bull Gravino. Indelicado's body turned up 3 weeks later in the Ruby Street lot, a known Mafia graveyard in Ozone Park, Queens, but the remains of the other two mobsters were not unearthed until 2004. According to FBI agent Joseph D. Pistone, the murderers involved in the assassination of Indelicado were Nicholas Santora, Sonny Black Napolitano, John Cersani, Joseph Mazzino, Salvatore Vitali, Joseph Desimone, Vito Rizzuto, Louis Giangetti, Santo Giordano, and Gerlando Schiaschia. Benjamin Lefty Ruggiero and John Cersani were lookouts, and sent in after to clean up the massacre and dispose of the bodies along with Santora, Dominic Napolitano, James Episcopia, and Robert Capoccio. Operation Donnie Brasco. Anthony Indelicado went into hiding after the three capo slayings. Santora took over the Motion Lounge crew, and Napolitano was promoted to street boss for Philip Rastelli, who was still incarcerated. Brasco's FBI operation ended when Napolitano ordered the murder of Anthony Indelicado and gave the contract to Donnie Brasco in order to make him a made man in the Bonanno family. It was revealed days later that Donnie Brasco was really Joseph D. Pistone, an undercover agent for the FBI. Pistone had spent 6 years undercover. The order came down shortly after to kill Napolitano for having allowed such a breach in Mafia security. On August 17, 1981, Napolitano was asked to come to the basement of Bonanno associate Ron Filocomo in Flatlands, Brooklyn, where he was ambushed by Filocomo and Capo Franklino, both of whom shot him to death. The contract came from Santora and Joseph Mazzino, on behalf of Rastelli. Family regrouping. Santora became capo of Napolitano's old crew and Rastelli was released from prison, but Santora was soon put under indictment due to the testimony provided by Pistone. A total of 100 Bonanno crime family mobsters would be tried and convicted, including Rastelli and Anthony Indelicado, who were both found guilty of racketeering and the murder of Carmine Galante along with 9 other Mafia associates in the infamous Mafia Commission trial in 1986. In November 1982, Santora, along with Lefty Ruggiero, Antonio Tomasolo, and Anthony Fat Tony Rabino, would be convicted in a 6-week jury trial for racketeering conspiracy, receiving a 15-year prison sentence. After the Mafia Commission trial in 1986, Bonanno boss, Philip Rastelli, would be sentenced to 12 years in prison, released due to heart troubles on July 21, 1991, but died 3 days later in the Queen's Hospital on July 24. Joseph Mazzino took over as boss of the Bonanno family in August 1991. Upon Santora's release in 1992, he created a partnership with newly promoted Bonanno acting consigliere, Anthony Rabino, in extortion, loan sharking, illegal gambling, drug trafficking and money laundering operations in Brooklyn, Queens and the Bronx, throughout the mid-1990s. Santora, Rabino and Mazzino's brother-in-law, Salvatore, good-looking Sal Vitali, became close with Mazzino and they expanded their operations to become the top earners in the Bonanno crime family toward the late 1990s. Joseph Mazzino and the Bonanno family were brought back into the Five Families Commission again, after being expelled because of the Donnie Brasco fiasco. In 2000, longtime Bonanno family consigliere, Anthony Tony Sparrow, was indicted on loan sharking, racketeering and murder in November, and in 2001 he was sentenced to life imprisonment. That gave Anthony Rabino a promotion as the official consigliere of the Bonannos. Toward 2003, indictments were again handed out, this time against their own boss and underboss, as Joseph Mazzino and Salvatore Vitali were held against bail for racketeering, arson, extortion, loan sharking, money laundering, illegal gambling, conspiracy and 7 murders. Because of this, Nicholas Santora was promoted to acting underboss in 2003. The indictments were also released against capos Anthony, Tony Green, Urso and James, Big Lou Tartaglione, who secretly agreed to wear a wire, and turned government witness. As Santora kept flying under the radar with Anthony Rabido, underboss Salvatore Vitali turned informant as the two capos handed him out in murder and racketeering charges. And with Joseph Mazzino on trial in March 2004, the government put capos Mikey Nose Mancuso and Vincent Vinny Gorgeous Bosceno on trial for racketeering charges, which included murder and conspiracy. Mazzino turns informant in October 2004. The FBI began to dig up bodies at an infamous mob graveyard in Queens, known as The Hole. They were looking for the bodies of 3 capos killed in the Bonanno family war in 1981. They found the bodies of Philip Giacconi and Dominic Trinchero. On February 4, 2005, the name of an informant was released to the press. Joseph Mazzino, who hoped to save his life and his assets, as he began to cooperate sometime in late September 2004, recording conversations with acting boss Vincent Bosceno, who was also convicted and jailed in July 2007. Despite the testimony of Joseph Mazzino in 2005, Santora managed to go under the government's radar until he was indicted along with Anthony Rabido and 17 other members of the Bonanno family, in a loan sharking and illegal gambling operation that was stretching from Brooklyn to Queens, Manhattan and Staten Island, which earned $210,000 a week from January 2003 to July 2004. This was mostly because of the death of Bonanno family capo Louis Mele, who died of natural causes in a room where an illegal gambling operation was based. Underboss from 2004 to February 13, 2007, Santora was the reputed underboss of the Bonanno crime family. Vincent Bosceno remains the reputed boss of the Bonannos, with Anthony Rabido as consigliere and Salvatore, Sal the ironworker Montagna as acting boss, reporting to Bosceno in prison. Nicholas Santora was released from the Loretto Federal Correctional Institute in southwest Pennsylvania on September 16, 2009. Since Santora's mistrial in 2016, he had been living with his daughter in Franklin Square, New York. Nicholas Santora died on October 27, 2018 at the age of 76, while awaiting a new trial. In popular culture, Nicholas Santora is portrayed as Nicky by Bruno Kirby in the 1997 film Donnie Brasco, which follows the life of undercover agent Joseph D. Pistone from 1978 to 1981. The character Nicky was shot and killed in the movie, whereas Santora was not. Nicholas Santora's younger brother, Tommy Santora, played the attacker in the 1979 film The Driller Killer, directed by Abel Ferrara. References. Further reading: DeStefano, Anthony. The Last Godfather. Joey Mazzino and the Fall of the Bonanno Crime Family. California, Citadel, 2006. Rob Selwyn. The Five Families. The Rise, Decline and Resurgence of America's Most Powerful Mafia Empire. New York, St. Martin's Press, 2005. Deal, Christine S. WP has a sit-down with Joe Pistone. Donnie Brasco, WP, The Magazine of William Patterson University, Volume 7, Number 1, Winter 2006. Pistone, Joseph D. and Woodley, Richard, 1999. Donnie Brasco, My Undercover Life in the Mafia, p. 402, Hodder and Stoughton. ISBN 0-340-66637-4. Pistone, Joseph D. 2004. The Way of the Wise Guy, Running Press. ISBN 0-7624-1839-7. Pistone, Joseph D. and Brent, Charles, 2007. Donnie Brasco, Unfinished Business, Running Press. ISBN 0-7624-2707-8. Testimony before Senate Subcommittee on Organized Crime, http://www.americanmafia.com/pistoni_testimony.html. External links: DOJ press release Bonanno family acting under boss, acting consigliere and 17 CAPOS soldiers and associates indicted for racketeering conspiracy, and other charges. Slate. Dispatches from a mob trial. Where the bodies are hidden by Dan Ackman. United States of America v. Joseph Mazzino and Salvatore Vitali. New York Post. Mobster cashes in his chips by Stephanie Cohen. New York Times. May 23, 2004. An archetypal mob trial. It's just like in the movies. CBSNews.com. July 30, 2004. New York's Last Dawn. Convicted. New York Times. October 13, 2004. Skeletal remains are believed to be those of mob captains by William K. Rashbaum.